another cool dynamic to your family and what you've got going on at Neeley Family Distillery is your father. I say he's almost like a superpower. Literally, he turns you into superhero because he can build anything. You come up with an expansion idea, he can do all that. I mean, what a difference he makes for you being, Neeley Family Distillery, what you have today.
Yeah, my dad, he's always been a role model for me. Yeah, I mean, I've always said this, he's the biggest X factor at that distillery. Besides the fact that he was successful enough with his own business to be able to fund that one there and help me with my dream to where we didn't have to take on any investors, anybody else. We could own 100% of that company and be able to grow it into what it is today. I could have never done that without him. And one of the ways we were able to do that is, I told you, he shot every screw, drove every nail in that distillery. Shit, he's building mine and Becca's house right now. He's been up there painting. He been painting for 8 hours a day for the last 4 days straight, quarantined because he thinks he has COVID up there. So he's just up there painting. That's just who my dad is. He's the hardest working guy I've ever been around. He's incredibly smart, very savvy businessman. I always tell people he's one of them guys, you can put my dad on a rock out in the middle of nowhere and he could still make money because eventually somebody walk by his ass and he get a hold of him. That's just the kind of businessman my dad is. And I've learned a lot from him. And he really is my role model.
I got a couple guys, friends that are contractors, and the problem with those guys is, they come in and they're incredibly talented and they get bigger. But what happens is then they want to be the boss. They want to grow the business where they don't actually have to do any of the work anymore. But your dad never quit doing the work. He was always on the roofs, pounding in nails. He wouldn't even use a nail gun when putting in a roof. And he would point out to you, this is a roof I put on, 23 years ago. And there's a roof that was put on 10 years ago using those nail guns. It doesn't work as well. He was a guy who just worked hard and that's what made him. And that's what made the difference. He never was just the boss. He was always a guy who was hands-on.
He leads from the front and he's always, and him and I butt heads on that a little bit now, but he's always been that guy. He, like I said, he works his ass off. He's up on, last year he's 55 years old and he's slinging, packing up 2 bundles of shingles up a ladder, which, it keeps him stout and, has made him a man, but he up there beating, it's 110 degrees on that roof. And there he is working his ass off, sweating up on that roof. And doing it all summer long. And he's been doing that. I started working with my dad when I think I was, 10 years old, helping him on the job site. Mm-hmm. He's always been like that.
Yeah. So it has to be rewarding to you. In reality, you're 25 years old when the distillery opens. You need your dad to help you out and your mom to help you out with, the funding. And they're taking a real chance. They could set up a situation where your dad's going to be 80 years old on top of roofs, if this thing doesn't work out, but it does. And the exciting news is your dad has been able to retire in the last year at age 55, and he doesn't have to crawl up on roofs anymore unless he wants to help out families projects and stuff like that with you, right? How cool is that?
Yeah, personally for me, and you and I have talked about this, Akeley, but it's the proudest thing that I've ever been able to do, which is, him and I had sat down and we had a plan, and he told me, son, I don't think I'm going to be able to retire till 65. I've got a much younger brother and sister. There's 4 of us, and he's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to retire until 65, and I said, look, we'll do this distillery, and I think I can get you off them roofs in 5 years. And damn it, I've done it in 2.5, and that's a big deal for me. So I'm pretty proud of that.
That is a big deal, man. That is a big deal, brother.
I'm proud of that, so.
That is really cool.
It's a cool
very,
thing.
very cool.
Sure. One comment to Royce. You asked me, how I want to keep the tradition going.
Yeah.
So for my kids, how do you inspire it? I'm gonna tell you what, you tell your kids and your grandkids that story of you helping your dad retire, you'll inspire quite a few generations coming after you, my friend.
Yeah.
That's
cool. I appreciate that, Freddie. Thank you.
It's one of the coolest things I've ever heard, to be able to help your dad like that from a backbreaking job. Oh, it's a cool thing for sure. And I know you guys love each other, but sometimes you butt heads at the distillery. This happens. You guys are, running a business. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of things. It's great, man. I'm so envious of you and being able to work with your dad every day like that. It's a cool thing. So yeah.